Welcome back to History and Freemasonry, where ancient symbols reveal timeless truths. The Kabbalah and the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. When most people hear the word Kabbalah, they think of Jewish mysticism, secret symbols, and hidden teachings. But within the walls of Freemasonry, and especially in the Scottish Rite, the Kabbalah holds a much deeper meaning. According to the great Masonic philosophers like Albert Pike, Eliphas Lévi, Arthur Edward Waite, and Manly P. Hall, the Kabbalah is not simply Jewish, it is far older. It is a universal system of wisdom, stretching back to the Aryans of the Indo-European world, to the temples of Egypt, the mystics of Chaldea, and the sages of India. Albert Pike, the Grand Commander of the Scottish Rite in the 19th century, wrote in his monumental book, Morals and Dogma, 1871, "All truly dogmatic religions have issued from the Kabbalah and returned to it. Everything scientific and grand in the religious dreams of all the Illuminati, Jacob Boehm, Swedenborg, Saint Martin, and others is borrowed from the Kabbalah." For Pike, the Kabbalah was the master key. It was the thread that united all mysteries, the Egyptian, the Chaldean, the Greek, the Christian, and the Masonic. But Pike did not believe it began with Judaism. Instead, he taught that the Kabbalah was a survival of Indo-European wisdom traditions, what he sometimes called Aryan or primordial teachings, that were later absorbed and reshaped by Jewish mystics. Eliphas Lévi, the French occultist whose Dogme et Rituel de la Haute Magie, 1854-56, inspired Pike himself, argued the same. He saw the Sephiroth, the 10 emanations of divine energy, and the 22 paths as a symbolic map of all human knowledge. Lévi believed that the Jews were only custodians of this knowledge, not its inventors. In his view, the roots stretched further back, to the Hermetic schools of Egypt, to the Chaldean astrologers, and to the Aryan sages of the East. Freemasonry, through the Scottish Rite, became a modern custodian of this ancient current. Manly P. Hall, in The Secret Teachings of All Ages, 1928, described the Kabbalah as a mystical algebra. It was not just theology, it was mathematics, geometry, and philosophy, all hidden in symbols. Hall wrote, "The Masonic order has given itself the task of preserving the lost keys of the ancient world. Among these keys is the Kabbalah, which reveals the architecture of both man and the universe. In the Scottish Rite, these keys appear in the degrees. The pillars of Boaz and Jachin, placed at the entrance of every lodge, mirror the Kabbalistic pillars of mercy and severity. The ladder of initiation through the 32 degrees is mirrored in the 32 paths of wisdom on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. The Master Mason's search for light is, in truth, the Kabbalist's journey through the Sephiroth, ascending from the material world to the crown of divine illumination." Arthur Edward Waite, another Masonic mystic, emphasized in The Holy Kabbalah, 1929, that the Kabbalah was the hidden theology of Masonry itself. Like Pike and Hall, Waite insisted it was not the property of one religion, but a universal key, a prism through which all sacred traditions are refracted. In the 20th century, academic scholars like Gershom Scholem, author of Major Trends in Jewish Mysticism, 1941, argued that Kabbalah was indeed deeply Jewish in character. Yet, even Scholem admitted its reliance on Neoplatonism, Gnosticism, and ancient cosmologies older than Israel itself. Ironically, his historical research gave more fuel to Masonic thinkers, who saw in his work confirmation that the Kabbalah was part of a perennial philosophy. And so, the Scottish Rite holds a unique position. It sees the Kabbalah as a heritage of all mankind, not a possession of one faith. It teaches that the light of Kabbalah came from the ancient Indo-European world, through Chaldea, Persia, Egypt, and Greece, and only later took root in Judaism. For the Mason, the Kabbalah is not only history, it is practice. Each degree in the Scottish Rite reflects Kabbalistic structure, the balance of the pillars, the ascent through the paths of wisdom, the journey of the soul toward the ineffable name of God. Albert Pike summed it up best. For him, the Kabbalah was the most precious relic of the ancient mysteries. In Morals and Dogma, he reminded Masons that behind every symbol, every ritual, every degree of the Scottish Rite, the Kabbalah was waiting to be rediscovered. It is the map of the universe. It is the key to initiation. and it is the bridge between the old Aryan mysteries, the Jewish mystics, and the modern Mason. The Kabbalah, then, is not simply a doctrine, it is the living soul of Freemasonry, the hidden light guiding every initiate on his eternal search for truth. If you find Masonic history enlightening, please like, share, and subscribe, and continue your journey in the light of the great architect of the universe. Thank you.